Hi, good afternoon. Angela Rayner says she doesn't want Keir Starmer's job. Thank God for that. The UK is already in chaos. What we don't need what we don't need is definitely her. Mind you, we don't need Starmer either. What do we need? Give me your views. This is an extra show. It's the Jon Gaunt show. Join in and make the most of it. It's Sunday afternoon. Angela Rayner, as I say, says she doesn't want Keir Starmer's job. Thank God. Britain's political class is a walking basket case at the moment. Labour, the Tories, the Lib Dems, they're all completely out of touch. But guess who is speaking for the people? Taken me a long time to come around to this, but it's Nigel Farage and Reform UK. They're rising. Reform UK is rising. And I'm telling you now, the reestablishment is panicking, absolutely panicking. I watched all the political programs this morning. Can't believe the state they're in. And none of them answer a question. The UK is heading towards another general election. Okay, it's 4 years away, but it'll probably be very much sooner. With the trouble Starmer's got with, how shall we describe it, the people who tried to firebomb his house. Now they're blaming the Russians, because we always know it's the Russians. They eat their babies, don't they? Voters are sick to death of the same old lies, the BS from Labour and indeed the Tories. Keir Starmer, he just talks in circles. Angela Rayner, she dodged every single question when I was watching her on Sky News and on the BBC today. And Rishi Sunak as well, he was just as useless. He would never answer a direct question. Meanwhile, Farage, whether you like him or not, and his party, Reform UK, are gaining ground fast. Why? Well, because they're offering, I guess, real common sense policies that actually make sense to working people and pensioners. This is the Jon Gaunt Show. I'm going to go through those policies in a moment, but I want you to start giving me your comments. Feel free on the side if you want to join in today. And if you're enjoying the show, please press the like and the share button, and then you'll get to know every time I'm doing a show. Normally I do shows at 6:30, Monday to Thursday evening. This is an extra one because I don't know about you. I was bored stiff on this bank holiday. The weather's appalling. No real sport on the telly. So I thought I'll come and talk to you lot. So don't let me down. Let's hear from you. Let's have your views. Rory Flynn says, think we all know it wasn't the Russians. We can all see who it was on X. Yeah, but they're suggesting maybe it was a conspiracy by the Russians. Absolute nonsense. Of course it is. Keir's down on his way out. Nigel's a sure bet now that Rachel for accounts will be sacked in the next 3 months. Yeah, she's toast. She has gone. The Labour government is in complete and utter disarray. And that's why I'm now thinking, well, who's going to be there for the next election? I watched Kemi today. She said nothing. It was the same old boring politics. Oh, and of course, there's the Lib Dems. He's too busy getting on a bloody roller coaster to worry about him. Chris Faulkner's asked me a direct question. Do you think we can last 4 years? Well, we as a country, no, Chris. But do I think Keir Starmer will cling on like a limpet on the rocks at Padstow Harbour in Cornwall? There's a half-term image for you. Yes, I think he will try to. Nothing seems to be derailing him at the moment. He did that dreadful EU deal on Monday. He sold out the Chagas Isles later in the week, even though there was a court protest about it. He's releasing dangerous prisoners whilst keeping Lucy Connolly in prison, and indeed Tommy Robinson. They're not really a threat to society, are they? But I'd suggest the rapists, muggers and murderers he's going to release, and child abusers probably are. I'm going to do something about Hugh Edwards again tomorrow because that filthy pervert is back in the papers. It's as if the establishment is imploding on itself. They just don't know what to do. And that's why I'm saying now is the time. And that's why this picture's here today. Give Farage the job. There he is with the keys. We know what Keir Starmer is. He's a European. There he is in his suit, which I've made up for him. He's a liar as well. That's the biggest thing. They all lie. But Starmer is the biggest liar that I've ever seen in my career in politics. And even Andrew Neil was saying that yesterday in his article in the Saturday or the Sunday Mail, that he'd never, ever met a party and a leader that have lied so much. Their sums don't add up. They conned us to get into power. They were aided and abetted by the useless, corrupt Conservatives, Lib Dems. Well, then there was the Lib Dems. And they're in a disaster zone. And he's dragging us down with him. Then he's got his own personal problems. We've got to get to the bottom of the Ukrainian models, haven't we? 3 of them now. But it's the Russians. Of course, it's the Russians. The Russians eat their babies. Didn't you know that? It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. How do I know that? Well, because the mainstream, lamestream media keep telling me, and they don't cover any of the other news. So we're heading towards this general election. Without a doubt, Nigel Farage and Reform UK are gaining ground. And that's why I say Nigel for PM. Give it him now. And it's because they're offering real common sense policies that actually make sense to working people and pensioners. This is what Reform say they're now standing for. And again, Nigel today has completely outmaneuvered Keir Starmer. Keir Starmer says he's going to bring back the Winter Fuel Allowance and then wouldn't give any details. It's a typical bullshit, isn't it? That's what liars do. They just give you the sizzle. They never really get... Oh, careful, John. They never really give you the sausage, do they? Maybe that's different in Keir's case. I'm talking metaphors here, of course. But what Nigel has said this morning, and he's going to make a big speech about it in the week, is... And by the way, I'm not a Reform supporter. I'm just looking for the lifeboat. And the lifeboat now is got to be Nigel Farage and Reform UK. He's going to bring back the Winter Fuel Allowance for all pensioners. He's not going to bother means testing them. Everybody will get it. He's also going to scrap, and this is remarkable for a right of centre party, he's going to scrap the 2-child benefit cap because he says that punishes families. And we need more babies. We do, to keep the country going. He's going to fix the small boats crisis with a proper deportation strategy. He's even going to have a minister of deportation. Do you like these ideas? So it's not just talk. He says it's going to be action. And he says he's going to end the Chagos Islands betrayal. He's also going to rip up Starmer's EU deal. And he's going to finish the job that Brexit started. And what do the mainstream media and all the political elites say to this? And they were doing it this morning on those political programs to say, yeah, but it's okay for him. He's not costed anything out. Police. The Labour and the Conservatives have wasted billions. You must have heard Labour going on about the £24 billion black hole. Give us the details. Oh, no, we can't do that. And the mainstream, lamestream media don't bother pressing them on it. They've wasted billions on vanity projects. Let's talk about HS2, shall we? Let's talk about the way that's millions, billions over budget. Let's talk about the fact there's not enough prisons. Let's talk about they've let every Tom, Dick and Abdul into the country, and Mohammed and Fred and Bert and whoever else. Anybody who just wants to get in. And of course, now we've got the E-deal. Have you seen that? Labour are scrabbling like mad to try and get the Europeans to allow us to use the e-custom gates this summer. The Europeans say no or none. And especially now that Trump has stitched them up by saying you're paying 50% tariffs. I said weeks ago, we've got to be in bed with Trump, not in bed with Macron, Mr. Starmer. I said we've got to be in bed with the United States, and that's what should happen. Look how much money they're wasting on migrant hotels. £6 million, your money every day. And then they have the temerity to say Nigel Farage hasn't costed his plans. Well, it doesn't look to me like Labour did. Rachel, in accounts, fiddled them, didn't she? And now she's getting her comeuppance. And the only certainty you've got with the Labour government at the moment is you're going to be paying more taxes. And suddenly they're making out on the mainstream media, they're worried about the budget. And let me tell you, thank God she said she doesn't want to be Prime Minister. But I don't believe her. I don't believe her at all. I don't believe anybody in the main parties. They all smell. They reek. There is a stench of BS. Are you with me or are you against me? Come on, I'm not doing all the talking today. It's Sunday afternoon. Where are we? Dave Burton says, Starmer's a snake. Fair enough. What's Chris saying? Chris Faulkner. Do you think we get an early election? I've read that one out already. Dave Burton says the 2-child cap needs to stay. Dave, expand on that. I can understand some of the politics behind that because some people are having kids and knocking them out as if, you know, they're not bothered, the fact that they can't afford to bring their kids up. But by the same token, we've got to encourage people to have more children. There's a demographic time bomb that's going to go off. The only people who are having children are the dingy boys when they eventually bring their families over as well from Dover. We're not. The settled community aren't. That's a fact. That's an absolute fact, Dave. But you might be able to persuade me. Dave Burton says Boris spaffed loads on the Garden Bridge. He did with Joanna Lumley and it never came off. But I think that's a small amount of money when you compare it to the total budget. But I understand where you're coming from. Give this clown and Farage a prison sentence. Well, I don't really understand that, Mike. Do you mean me? You mean me? I need a prison sentence. What? For talking plain common sense? Please expand on that, Mike. And of course, you're on YouTube. If you're thinking about joining in, just sit down, think about what you want to say, put it into a short, pithy text and send it to me. Regan and Carter, I do not understand the Chagos Island deal. Surely we had the upper hand. We could have offered them back as long as we kept our military base without handing out the money as well. Well, absolutely. Of course we can. That's what we should have done. But evidently, Starmer can't negotiate. He cannot negotiate. It's clear. He couldn't negotiate his way out of a paper bag. He's just useless. Look at America. All of that deal in America, and I don't blame Donald Trump, is in America's favor. We are paying more now than we were before. Admittedly, not as much as the EU. But if Trump was going around the world threatening people, would you then side with the EU? No, you wouldn't. You'd try and get a deal with Trump. Well, we've kind of got a deal, but it's all in his favor. Then, of course, there was the EU betrayal. We've rejoined the EU. Don't tell me, I had loads of people this week. We haven't rejoined the EU. You're lying. No, we haven't. You're correct. It's worse. Now we have to do exactly what they say, but we're not even at the negotiating table. That's Keir Starmer, the super statesman. Keir Starmer, America, I'm going to sort out Putin. I'll sort out Zelensky. Oh, no, hold on a minute. I'm getting together the coalition of the willing. Coalition of the bloody unwilling, Starmer, you absolute clown. Who did he get together? Poland. And then, Canada. I don't think Australia came in the end. It's like the bloody Eurovision. There weren't enough people to take part, so we got Australia involved. And wasn't that just a festival of degradation and filth? I've got nothing against gay people or trans people, actually. But the whole idea of Eurovision now, it's nothing to do about the songs, is it? Sorry, I'm diverting myself here. Let's get back to this. Starmer can't negotiate. I've told you this a million times. He's got the Midas touch in reverse. So he messed up that. I don't know about India. I've not had a chance to really look at the detail of the Indian trade deal, but he's making out he's got 3 major trade deals. He sold us out on the EU and we've gone back in. We're paying now more than we were before, in effect, and we'll be told exactly what to do. Trump has taken us for mugs, and I don't blame him, because if he's got the art of the deal, and if we're going to act like prats, then he's going to take advantage, and I think that's what he's done. Good luck to him. I can admire that. I can respect that. I wish he hadn't done it, but it's our fault because we shouldn't have messed about. The coalition of the willing, there is no coalition of the willing. Starmer thinks he's got some say. I've got nephews with more warships than we have as a country. And anyway, any warships we've got should be in the Channel at the moment, in the Navy, sorting out those migrants. It could be sorted out within a week. You save the money on the migrant hotels by putting them in tents. I'm glad to see that Nigel's coming around to that way of thinking. Or put them in the hospitals that we built very quick. Do you remember when we built them for COVID? Let's put them in there. Treat them well, no problem. But any new arrivals, I'm sorry, change your clothes, bit of stew and dumpling if you fancy it. No halal. We're not catering for your nonsense. Back on the boat, bye, or back on a plane, Stelios, chocks away, and we video it all and we send it out on YouTube. And by doing that, that will put off more people coming. Why should people be able to cheat to get in our country? Why does Starmer devalue our beautiful passport? Why does he make out that it's, anyone can come? It's not. We don't live in immigrants are us. A British passport should be something to really fight for and really respect, not given away like some cut-priced Green Shield stamps or a loyalty card in my local coffee shop. No. We've got to get a grip. And the only man who's promising to get a grip at the moment appears to be Nigel Farage. Am I right, or am I ranting like a madman? Why don't you tell me? I keep desperately wanting to give out a phone number then so that you can join in. We will have phones soon. 7 likes. That's terrible. Lots of people watching, though. That's good news. And don't forget, you can always catch it on Catch Up on a podcast or on all the major platforms, or you can watch it again on YouTube, Twitter, or indeed on Facebook. And if you're a first-time commentator, put that in your little note when you write them up. I'm going to come back to all of you people in just a moment. But first, I just got a few of the things I want to say about the disgraceful situation we're in. Let's go through those things that Nigel has said he will do. Bringing back the Winter Fuel Allowance. Everybody, I think, in the country reckons what Starmer did with that was totally and utterly wrong. Scrap the 2-child benefit cap. Some people say that punishes families. Other people say it's a serious and sensible policy, and we should keep it. We can have that debate today. But we have got to fix the small boats crisis. And we're going to have to deport people. I didn't want to use that deport word. I don't like it. But what else can we do? And if we had a minister for deportation, then it's somebody's portfolio, isn't it? And the Chagos Islands, we need to turn around to Malaysia and go, no, we've changed our minds. We're keeping it. And the EU deal, we need to wipe our collective Union Jack backsides with that. And we need to finish the job that the establishment has failed to do, which is give us a proper Brexit. And the mainstream media, you may as well get on board, because otherwise you're going to be left behind. I couldn't believe it today. They even had somebody on from the Green Party, some right jerk. Why? The future is going to be, whether you like it or not, Nigel Farage. He is now dominating the news agenda. We don't want any more vanity projects. We don't want any more migrant hotels. We don't want any more 2-tier Kia legal systems. We don't want failed grandiose schemes. We just want to put the great back in to Great Britain. And the truth is, this is the absolute truth, guys. Nigel Farage and Reform UK is a threat to their cosy little club, the Conservatives, the Lib Dems and Labour. Reform UK, I'm afraid, is the only party talking about real immigration control, energy bills, and standing up for British sovereignty. And as I say, I'm not a great fan. I think I probably now will vote for them, because we've got to get rid of Starmer. And then this weekend, when there's a serious proposition that Angela Rayner could take over, you have got to start panicking, guys. You've got to say enough is enough, and we've got to unite on the right and make sure we get rid of this lousy Labour government. We've got to remember it could get worse. It could get worse. Mulholland, Christopher, do you go to public school? Stop child benefits being sent out of the UK. Oh, yes. Wouldn't save much money, but I know where you're coming from. Yeah, this ridiculous state of affairs where we get people living in this country, their kids have never lived here, and they're getting child benefit. No. I am with you completely. Dave Burton says, who has the most large families? It ain't the Brits. Yeah, I thought that's where you were coming from, Dave. I take your point. I do take your point, but Well, when you say it's not British families, some of those families are British. They're as British as you and I. So let's not be careful. Let's not tread into racism if we can. But the bottom line is, those ethnic communities which you're referring to there, they're having babies. It's a demographic time bomb. We need it. And then people say, oh, I don't want the whole nature of Britain to change. Well, it's changing. It's demographics, my friend. And we can't go around sterilizing people. What we could have done is not let so many people in. I accept that. But that goes back to Tony Blair. He said when they expanded Europe and the Polish plumbers came, cliche, he said only 15,000 would come. 1 million came in the first 6 months. I remember talking about this on the radio. See, I've been around long enough. I'm not some young slip of a lad or some girl with a high-pitched voice. Just now discovered right-wing politics. I've been doing this for years. That's why they won't give me a job in the mainstream, because I know too much. That's why I've been writing for the papers. That's just mad. Dark Angel says, evening, John. Is it evening already? What time is it? Oh, 9 minutes to 5. I suppose it is. Hello, Dark Angel. The 20 billion black hole is twice that now. I think you're right. I wouldn't argue with that. I just wouldn't argue with that. We're in a terrible, terrible situation. Shelley Lime says, don't be so dense. Farage, this is YouTube, Farage has shown himself over and over again to be unfit for public office. The man is an unstable, vindictive bully. Wake up, for God's sake. Okay, Shelley, expand on that. Send me another message and tell me why. He's unfit for public office. What do you base that on? What events? What events? Come on. And where do you get the instability that he's unstable from? Where do you get that from? And the vindictive bully, you mean the way he sacked Rupert Lowe? Well, it turns out he was right about that. The guy's an anti-Semite. Have you not seen that video? I don't want him in power either. But expand. By all means, expand. And also, we're talking about a crop of people, like a crock of something. I'm not saying Nigel Farage is a saint. In no way, shape or form. And I'm sure there's a lot of dullards within Reform as well. But I'm saying we are facing a crisis. See, that's the thing. I agree with him. We should be declaring a state of emergency. I made a podcast a few weeks about this, because of what's happening at Calais. We haven't had many over the last couple of days because the weather's turned nasty. What's it going to be like in June, July, flaming June, July? August might be a bit unstable. But imagine how many people are going to come. Have we made any preparations for it? No. All the people that Starmer is deporting, they all want to go back. They're getting a big wedge of cash to go back. But they'll be straight back in, won't they? We've even got some of those illegals coming in and then going back for holidays. Fraser Ford has put the thumbs up. Thank you, Fraser, very much indeed. Don't forget, if you want to help me out to keep these podcasts going, you can donate cash. You can buy me a beer or buy me a coffee at www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt. A $5 is where they start at. Most people give 15 quid, 3 coffees. You don't have to, but then I'll name you on Twitter and all the rest of it. And you get your name under here on the screen if you're watching on telly. And likewise, you could also do it with a super chat or a super sticker, I think they're called, whilst I'm on air with YouTube. You just click the heart at the bottom of the video, down there somewhere, okay? And you can donate whatever you wish to donate. You then will get your name in the thing and the chat, and I'll talk about you, and I'll say thank you, because I am grateful. I was down on my luck. I've lost everything. You know, if you don't know the whole story, I was really ill, had sepsis, nearly died, pulled myself back together. It's taken me about a year and a bit, 2 years, to get my act together, and now I'm coming back. And I got real ambition for this podcast, because in that time while I was away, the technology's changed. Like today, you can see my green screen behind me. I'm slightly out of focus. There we are. Behind me, I can put any projection up there I want. And I just feel like I'm back and I'm doing what I want to do. And no one's telling me what to say. It's brilliant. It's liberating. What's this one? Dark Angel, forget the 20 billion black hole. He be more worried about the 2.7 trillion deficit. Exactly. We are up that proverbial creek without a paddle. We are in a terrible position. Terry Divine says, brilliant on YouTube. What does that mean? Brilliant. But thank you very much Fancy donating now? Thank you very much indeed. Why don't Starmer put boats in the channel, do you think? Well, I think because he wants the people in the country. It's the only conclusion I can come to. I wondered, forget about Russia firebombing his house. I sometimes wonder, is he a double agent? Is he just trying to run our country completely down? Because I can't understand some of the stupid decisions he's made. And as for putting the Navy in the channel, I said that weeks ago. If you look at one of my podcasts, I say declare a state of emergency, put the Navy in the channel, and put the army on the beach. Do what Donald Trump has done on the southern border, Texas into Mexico and the South America. He's flooded it with troops. He's built his wall. It's a beautiful wall. And it's gone down by 95% illegal immigration. We've got a spit of water between us and the French. The French are waving them over. We've got to stop that. We've just got to turn them around and tow them back, especially now. How dare they? After we signed that EU surrender deal, right? That's what happened. We signed that deal on Monday, and then later in the week, they've seized 2 of our trawlers. Who the hell do the French think they are? If it wasn't for us twice, the French would be goose-stepping down their high street. We saved their backsides, and this is how they repay us. You may think that's a bit over the top, but I think it's worth putting on the record. Excuse me. Phil, I'm worried about it. Starmer thinks it's only that. I don't know what that is anyway. Phil and Dark Angel are having a beautiful relationship. I'm glad I brought you together. Winter Wolf says Labour traitors. I think that's a fair point. If going to demos, we should wear masks too. I thought that demo, I've got to say, was pathetic yesterday. Had no focus, no idea of what it really was. Let's have a general strike. What do you want a general? Who's that going to hurt? It's going to hurt yourself. Nonsense. I didn't agree with it. Sorry if that upsets you, but I'm just telling you what I think. Chopper. Lots of people are saying Starmer is clueless and a clown. Hold on a minute. But isn't it possible he's doing all of this on purpose? It wouldn't be the first time a politician has crashed a country on purpose. I think that's a very good point. A very well, interesting point to discuss, at least. Here in Wales, says Phil, we have the Senedd elections in May 2026. I'm petrified that that's Plaid Cymru, isn't it? We'll get it over or reform. I doubt it. I think the Welsh are a bit too sensible for that. It's like the guy from the Green Party. It was like two-party politics and these fringe things. It's just forget it now. It's over. Vote or reform is what I would say. And I'm saying that with a bit of a heavy heart. I wish the mainstream parties did have their act together. But are you willing to wait for them? Because I'm not. I'm just not. So let's talk about the mainstream media for a moment, then, and the political elites. They're both saying the same thing. They're singing from the same hymn sheet. Neither of them want Nigel Farage and Reform UK anywhere near power because it'll break up their little cosy club, as I keep saying. So they're not your friends. The newspapers, the BBC, Sly News, they're not your friends. They're not on your side. Do you understand where I'm coming from? And that's a worry as well. Because they've had it easy. Laura Kunsberg, she can come on and say, oh, the Labour are saying this, Tories are saying this. Then they get 3 lovely. What's the point of that panel they have? They had Jane Moore, who I know very well because I used to work at the Summer. She's a very nice woman. Some bloke who's working about internet violence or something. And the guy from the Green Party. Who gives a shit what any of those 3 think? No disrespect. I want to hear the politicians and I want to see the politician handbook. And Angela Rayner, when she kept saying, oh, no, that's for the Chancellor to answer. That's for the Prime Minister. Laura Kunsberg should have said, OK, then we'll get them here. Well, you may as well go now. I don't need to speak to the monkey anymore. I'll speak to the organ grinder. But you see, also, she wasn't telling the whole truth. She said, oh, I've got no ambition to be the Prime Minister. And I did laugh and say to myself, well, good job, love, because you're never going to be it. But you don't know, do you? You don't know. Liz Truss became the Prime Minister, then that lettuce. You never know what might happen. So, what do we do? The truth is, Farage is our only option at the moment. Reform UK is the only party who are talking about the things that I think matter. Real immigration control. the cost of living, energy bills, our sovereignty. Because if he could sell us out on the EU, don't you think Starmer's going to sell us out on Gibraltar and on the Falklands like he has done with the Chegasars? He is not patriotic. So we don't need another 4 years of lies, chaos, and broken promises and silly little snipes and chatter in Westminster. They're on holiday this week. You wouldn't know any difference, would you? What we need now is strong leadership. We need truth, clarity, and action above all else. It's time to stop pretending. It's time to cut the crap. We need to find a way to give Nigel Farage the job now. I'm speaking in a metaphor there, really. I'm not saying let's have a revolution, but we can't wait 4 years. There'll be nothing left of Great Britain by then. What do you think? Should Nigel Farage and Reform UK be in the next election? Will you vote for them? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I always read them afterwards. And don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe to the Jon Gaunt TV show here on YouTube. You'll never, ever miss an edition if you do that. That's the best way to keep up with what I'm up to. So please do that. And tell all your mates to subscribe as well. And if you can persuade them to donate a few bob, that would be great as well. 13, that's unlucky for some. 13 likes. We need a few more, please. I don't want to leave it on that. Right, let's have a look at other people. As bad as Starmer is, and don't use swear words, please. Keep those keys away from Farage. Oh, I see. So Andrew Fry saying, as bad as Starmer is, and he's terrible, we use that word, keep those keys away from Farage. Why do you say that, Andrew? Expand on that, please. People aren't having children due to the sheer cost of everything these days. It's a very fair point. And also, would you want to bring your kids into a country and a world like ours? I think I would seriously. I mean, we only had 2. I do regret. I wish we'd had 3 or 4, if I'm honest with you. But when you look at the state of the country, what future have our kids got? Straddled with debt from university. And of course, the better you do at university, if you go on and do another degree or whatever, or if you go, one daughter went to Oxford, that's a 4-year degree. So that's more money around her neck. My other daughter, she's gone on and done, she got a first and then she's gone and done, what do you call it, MA. Now she's doing a PhD. Costs a fortune. Where's the help? Where's the help for working class kids? I was the first one, or me and my brother, to go to university, and our whole extended family. We had a grant. Admittedly, we pissed most of it on the wall, but we had a grant. We certainly didn't have to pay our fees back. I just think we've got it all wrong. Blair again. I want to send 50% of kids to university. Why? I've got mates who are plumbers who have earned more and more money now because they're all coming to retirement age. There's me with nothing, completely brassic, begging for people to send a £5 on my little YouTube channel. They're driving their Mercs and going around the world trips. Get a trade. Farage is unfit for office for the following reasons. Simeon Harman is now going to send me a load of different reasons. Let's see what they are. He takes no responsibility for anything he says or does or the effect it has on the country. The other way of looking at it, he's the only politician who ever fulfilled his ambition. He wanted to get us out of Europe. He did. It's not his fault what those in charge have done since, is it? He wasn't the majority party. I think that's a bit unfair, Simeon, if I'm honest with you. He then says he never says what he really thinks about controversial subjects like Tate or the riots. I don't know about Tate. He's an irrelevance. I wouldn't talk about him. But the riots, yes, he did, because all the Labour the lefties, they all call them the Farage riots. Well, actually, he had less to do with fomenting the riots than Starmer, if you look at the historical context. It was Farage who called everyone far right. It was Farage who started getting the judges. Well, he didn't tell them to do it, but it was a chumocracy. Oh, what he wants us to do is have harsher sentences. Oh, we're going to be on the telly. It'd be like being in Crown Court. What was it called? Crown Court on the telly? I used to watch it at lunchtimes when I was meant to be going back to school with my Auntie Rosemary. But anyway, Crown Court. Was it called Crown Court? You know the one I mean. Anyway, so it was him who did that. So again, Simeon, I think you're being a bit unfair. Farage councillors had stepped down already for not declaring an interest. Yes, they have. And it's good that they have. And it's right that if they've been found out or they've realised they've done it wrong, what's wrong with that? That's being honest. Standing down's not a bad thing. That's like people say to me, you got the sack for... And I say, oh, yeah, what for? You called somebody a Nazi. Yeah, do you know the context? He was trying to say that kids in care should stay in residential homes rather than be adopted or fostered by working class white people who smoke. I think that's wrong. And if you want to know the reason, it's because I was in care myself. And I think they're in a lot more danger if they stay in a residential home. I got the sack for that. Oh, and I called the councillor who's proposed it an ignorant pig and a Nazi. And he was. And let me tell you, I'm proud of it. I wish I hadn't lost my job because I'd like to be earning all that money, driving a Jaguar and turning left, getting onto planes. But at least I've still got principles, you know? So I'm careful about this. He voted against workers' rights and better wages for working people. He did. I don't think he voted at all, actually. But you're right, Simeon, he did. He didn't think we could afford it. Do you think we can? Do you think it was unusual that the first thing that Labour did when they came into power was give all the public service sector a massive wage increase? I think they deserved it as well. But where did the 24 billion deficit come from? You know, I just think you can't be this tribal. I guess that's what I'm also saying. We're in a different world today. Britain is in peril. We're being invaded via Dover. The EU are back in control. We can't do what we want to do. Our laws will be made in Strasbourg and Brussels again. We're beholden to Donald Trump. These are all facts. We're not Great Britain. We're not even a little Britain. Rupert Lowe said what the public says. Farage is just another politician with no convictions. Well, hold on a minute. When Rupert Lowe was caught on camera talking about Jews the other day, that isn't what British people think. British people aren't racist. Anyway. Farage is just another politician with no convictions. Well, that's not true, is it? He spent 20 or 30 years trying to get Brexit. You can't say that. That's just a falsehood. He obviously has got convictions. And anyway, there's an awful lot of politicians in Westminster who have got actual criminal convictions. What about Mike Amesbury, who punched one of his constituents? Do you notice he did 1 day in prison? What about the councillor who said he wants to slit everybody's throats who doesn't agree with him? Ricky! He's not even been in court yet. Do you think he's going to go down for as long as Lucy went down for a few hurty words? Two-tier justice. Andrew, don't be tribal. Try and be better than that. He's got no convictions. And stop the boats. I'm not interested. Here we go. Here we see the real Andrew Fry. And stop the boats. Well, I'm not interested. If they're, I think you mean they're, A-R, Theyre with an apostrophe, fleeing and starving, so what? Okay, Andrew, let's just examine what you've just said. People, if you want to comment, Andrew says he's not bothered if these people are fleeing persecution, effectively, and they're starving. How many people on that boat, those boats that we see getting to Dover, are starving? What I see is leather jackets, puffer jackets, and brand new mobile phones. That's what I see. They're not starving. I'm sure there are some people who are, but they've come here for a better life, and I don't blame them. This is a great country, but don't give me this shit that they're all starving. And if we know they're the starving millions and we're heartless and we're terrible, who took in the Hong Kong refugees? Who took in the people from Ukraine? Who took in the people from Uganda, if you want to go that far back? We've always been a welcoming, tolerant country. Who helps Pakistan when there's a flood? Us. We take our army, goes there and puts tents there and looks after them, and it's rightly so. So why can't they sleep in tents when they come to our country illegally, Andrew? You are a uber liberal. You make me sick. Simeon Harmon, he is financially illiterate. Well, I don't think that can be true either, can it? Because he worked in the city. He doesn't acknowledge the benefits of being in the EU. Simeon, you're beautiful, mate. I love you. Simeon, you're the reason I had to start a channel like this, because people like you are listened to too often. He doesn't appreciate or acknowledge the benefits of being in the EU, says Simeon. There aren't any. His political belief is we're a sovereign nation. What is wrong with that? He prioritises his. I'm almost had enough of you now, Simeon. His priorities. He prioritizes. So you're missing letters out as well. But anyway, his media career over his work. Well, what's his work? He's a politician and he's a media personality. What's your problem? What's your problem? Jealousy? Jealousy and envy is also an awful, awful trait to have. And Simeon, then he says, he never made the Reform Party democratic. Well, why are you bothered? You think they're crap. You don't like them. What's it got to do with you if they're democratic or not? See, sometimes you got to do a little bit more than just read the Socialist Worker or listen to Kevin Maguire on the telly or that idiot, what's his name, on LBC. You got to do a little bit more work than that and look into the background of it and be less tribal. Simeon. Debbie Burgess, she's not taking any shit off him. She says, go away, troll, Simeon Harmon. Everyone you troll, BS. Is he well known? I've never heard of him. Andrew Fry, no benefits of being in the corrupt EU. Right, Simeon, I'm not reading that anymore now because do you know what? I've given you a chance and you're just being a prick. Right, so you can keep writing things. Oh, here you go. So now I knew this would happen. He's on to me now. Yeah. So, I'm sorry. This man is a grifter. Really, Simeon. A grifter, somebody gets off his arse after having sepsis, nearly dying, sets up his own channel, gets his people who like him, like no doubt you, Simeon, to donate to get me off the ground and get me working again. That's a grifter, is it? No, mate. That's a hard-working person trying to make a living. You probably won't know because you probably are a teacher or a social worker or something like that, I guess. You work in the public sector. You probably never had to turn a dollar in your life. No, Debbie, trolls don't spit facts. Be sensible now, says Itching the Think. Oh, we've got a few of them on today then. That's good stuff. I do like a bit of balance now and again and a few sacrificial lambs. Andrew Fry says we don't care for mass immigration. Well, Andrew, let me just tell you exactly where I am on that. I absolutely believe in immigration. Immigration has made this country better, but immigration has to be well controlled and managed. Itching the think. That's what I love. Farage will kill the NHS dead in 2 seconds. Sold to his mate Trump for pennies on the dollar. He's never said he wants to prioritise it all back. You're an absolute idiot. Simeon saying, do you take calls? No, Simeon, not at the moment. But if you'd like to donate some money, eventually I'll be able to take calls as well. So then I can have you on air and totally humiliate you. Simeon, you should really look up my background if you think you can take me on. You really should. But anyway, that's your health warning. Can you explain, please, the prisons, the hotels for migrants, etc., all started during the Tory government reign for 14 years. So haven't Labour inherited all these problems? Yes, Graham. Yes. In fact, they started way before that. I could trace this all the way back to Tony Blair. In between them, there's been loads of prime ministers and governments. It's the political class, Graham. Don't you understand what my act is? It's not an act, by the way, but my whole political position. I hate the lot of them. They're all self-serving pigs with their snouts in the trough. And no doubt Farage, if he got into power, might be a bit like that. But I'm saying we are in an emergency situation. We can't carry on with Starmer. And God forbid, Rayner, just say if there was any truth in any of these wild rumours that are flying around, say he just had to step down. He could be the Prime Minister. Think it through. Farage, this is Mike Vallant. We got Sunday's great for getting lefties. Thank you for joining the show. Farage is one of them. He wants to continue privatising the NHS. For one, Farage is no different. He'll sell off what's left to BlackRock. This guy is very ignorant. Are you talking about me, Mike? Don't call me ignorant, mate. You look at my CV, you look at what I've achieved in life, and then compare it to your miserable, sad little bastard of a life. Yeah? And then come back to me, and then we'll have a conversation. But if you're accusing me of being ignorant, you're in big trouble, because that's just ridiculous. Listen, I don't think Farage will sell off the NHS. I think he will privatise bits of it, and I think bits of it can be. Bits of it already privatised. The NHS saved my life. You'll never hear me slag off the NHS, and you'll never hear me slag off the workers. I thought when the Brexit Party, and some people on some TV and radio channels were taking the mickey out of the doctors and nurses doing dance routines on TikTok during the COVID pandemic. I thought they were disgusting to take the mickey out of them. Why couldn't they have 5 minutes to relax and a laugh? Imagine dealing with that much death every single day. So you won't hear me slag off the NHS. You will not hear me do that. But it can be tightened up, and there could be bits of it that are privatised. Why not? And if you can use private health, why not? What's the problem? It's like Angela Rayner's attack on private schools. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. It's the politics of envy. What do you mean when you say Britain will be destroyed in a few years? Did I actually say that? I certainly think it will be changed, fundamentally changed. I think, in fact, that's what I said, wasn't it? I said something about with the population explosion, it will have changed. Well, it will have done. Demographically, it will have changed. It's a fact. And a lot of people get upset about that. Oh, no, Birmingham will be mostly ethnics, and they go mad about it. I haven't said what my view is, but that's what some people say. Here you go, Andrew. It wasn't hard. I'm losing stuff now. I don't really want you to argue with each other, Simeon and Andrew. That's not the purpose of my chat. Go off and do it somewhere else. Where should we go next? Chopper. Mark, I've got to stop in a minute, and no one's donated. I think that's a bit mean. You've had 46 minutes. Not one person donated today. Lots of likes. Brilliant on those. And lots of people watching. Brilliant. And if you're listening now on the audio podcast later or watching this later, thank you very much indeed. You can still donate. www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt, or do it on YouTube with a super chat or a super sticker. Blair wanted more kids to go to university so they could be brainwashed. How many millennial Remainers do you hear going on about how intelligent they are? Yeah, they've certainly got a great sense of their self-importance. He wanted it to be, he thought that having a 50% of children going to university was a great thing. I think he was wrong. We should have never devalued the trades. That's what I think. And but I'm not into this. You know, some people say to me, "Oh yeah, it's all Mickey Mouse. Those Mickey Mouse degrees they do go on to." And I said, "What like?" And when I was on radio in Luton, it was always, "Oh, Luton, they do media studies." And then I used to say, "You know, Toby, who you like on the show, was one of my reports. Yeah, he did the media studies course at Luton. Do you know Louisa? Yeah. Well, you know her? She was there because I had a load of them because I was working in Luton. And these were really intelligent, articulate kids, and they've gone on to have fantastic careers. So media studies, if it's done well, is not a Mickey Mouse degree. I didn't do it. I did a proper Mickey Mouse degree. I did drama. Anyway, can I ask you if you've been to Dover, John? Yes. What's that question? What's that question about? Oh, lovely. Here we are now. Seven Clouds. Stupid right-wing live stream. It's not that stupid because you've actually reacted more than once. You've had 2 or 3. You're like Simeon. You're a masochist. You like Gaunty. You love me, don't you? Do you want me to send you a picture? You can put it on your bedroom wall. Stick it up on the wall with blue tack. Huh? Stupid right-wing live stream. I think I might put that on my header. Stupid right-wing live stream. How stupid are you then if you're listening? 21 now. That's good likes. Hi, John. Surely we can't put up with Keir Starmer for another 4 years. I'm disabled. No chance of getting a job because I can't physically do it. So I'm screwed. Keep up the good work, John. Thank you, David. Very good comment. And I was totally against the PPEI, all those cuts and the disabled thing. And he's going to have to reverse that as well. See, that's the thing with Starmer. He's tone deaf politically. Only Nigel speaking about the dinghy men before anybody did. I remember 2 years ago, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, every time I put on GB News, he was on a little fishing boat out in the channel. Well, he's been proved right, hasn't he? We should have clamped down on it then, but we didn't, did we? We didn't. Oh, yeah, this is a nice one. Oh, see, Klaus now is off on one. We'll keep the red flag flying here. Freedom for Putin. This idiot says, meaning me, says we can welcome people from Ukraine, but people from like Gaza shouldn't be welcomed in. I never mentioned Gaza. See, this is the thing. Have you noticed this with left-wing idiots? They begin to make things up. Listen, mate, I'm pretty outrageous without you making up lies about me. I've not mentioned Gaza. If you can find somewhere in this particular podcast where I've mentioned Gaza, I will sleep with you. How about that? Huh? There's a good deal for you. Huh? Don't make stuff up. It makes you look thick. And anyway, when it comes to Gaza, I'll tell you what my case on that is. When Gaza eventually has any democratic elections, they haven't had any for 14 years, I believe, and when they're not infiltrated by Hamas and the Hamas media machine, then we'll talk about it. But no, I wouldn't let somebody come from Palestine unless we had proper checks on them. No, I wouldn't. No, I would not. But don't make things up, Klaus, because you look stupid. He's now saying, it's just racist. Oh, yeah, Klaus, whatever you say. Klaus is an idiot. Itching the Think says politicians should not have radio shows. Well, I actually made a podcast, if you look on my archive, about that. And I said that now that Nigel Farage is an MP, maybe he shouldn't have a radio show. Some people agreed. Some people disagree. Andrew Fry, we're told constantly they're starving, whether you like it or not. The public don't want them here, draining our taxes. You're the one who doesn't get it. You having to go at me? And no, I suppose you having to go at Klaus. Anyway, Klaus, you're not coming back on again because you're an idiot. Oh, and then now he's. Oh, I just will read this. I love this. The left as well. They'll call you a CUNT. They'll call you everything. And then when you just think, I'm not going to bother engage anymore, they go, no way. The guy hasn't responded to my comments because he knows I'm right. Yes, Klaus. Yeah, you're right. And I can't intellectually beat you in a discussion. You're absolutely right. I bow down to you, you absolute tosser. Jon Gaunt. This is Ning. At least he's got some facts. Roughly 45% of our trade is the EU. Is it not worth staying in for the tariff-free trade? I feel like the benefits far outweigh the cons, but interested to see what you say. Well, Ning, I think that's worth talking about. But the problem is, Ning, we'd be better off having deals with America. And what we don't want to do is upset Donald Trump. Donald Trump has put 50% on them now. I think it will come down, but it's not going to come down by a great deal. So, hang on. Oh, I'm not itching the thing. So, privatisation is not a sell-off. He's talking about the NHS. Duh. Well, no, it's not a sell-off. Lots of stuff in the NHS is already privatised, like paper procurement and uniforms. It's like the police. Do you know the police? Every force, they have a procurement division who buy their uniforms. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Give it to one firm. Do the lot. Anyway, NHS got round to me, to be frank, helped a lot. Good and bad everywhere. Well said. Chopper, can tell it's not a school night and a bank holiday. Lots of the sixth form debating society are in tonight. No, that's fine. That's fine. Klaus is going on. If you're reading the chat yourself, guys, Klaus really thinks he's the class hero today. Here's a great one. I'm going to have to read this. No one's donating to you, spelled with a U, because people don't fund terrorist supporters. When have I said us? Oh, you mean Israel? Of course, yeah. Yeah, Israel, a terrorist state. Yeah, the only democracy in the whole of Middle East. That's right. You are a pathetic sixth former. Okay, I've given you your chance. Klaus, you can go to school tomorrow and tell everyone, I told that Jon Gaunt. I told Jon Gaunt. I told him what he was. Right. Kim Thomas, I wouldn't trust Nigel with anything. Really? Nigel has dollar signs in his eyes. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with I want to make money? What's wrong with making money? I've been poor and I've been pretty well off. I'll tell you something. It's much better off being pretty well off, I'll tell you. Anyway, Nigel ran a business and he knows the EU inside out. Debbie Burgess says, I've blocked Simeon. He's a pain. Probably one of them many. No, I'm not saying that, Debbie. You're going to get me into trouble. Right, there's one here. Let's go. Let's let this be the last one. We've never stopped trading with companies in the EU. Food stores have always been full of food from Europe. Brexit never stopped trading. We buy more from the EU than they buy from us. That is absolutely true. Well, that was good, wasn't it? That was a lot of people watching, even just on YouTube. So thank you for it. Thank you for the 23 people who have said they like it. It all helps with the algorithm. Thank you for everyone commentating, even Simeon and Klaus. But you listen, lads, if you want to be left-wing, and let me tell you, I was very left-wing at one stage, so I know the way the game's played. But then I grew up, right? And I ran out of other people's money. So, you become more right-wing as you get older. But if you want to engage with me, don't lie about me. Don't call me a racist. Don't say that I want to privatise the NHS. Don't say to me that I hate the Palestinian people. I don't. I hate Hamas. Don't make out that Israel are all the baddies. Do you not remember those innocent Israelis murdered by Hamas scum, right? So don't do this with me, right? Don't do it with me. Because when I get the phone lines open in a few weeks' time, hopefully, I'll really take you on and I'll take you to bloody pieces because it'll be entertaining. But I'll stop after a while because it isn't entertaining to the rest of the audience because everyone knows what you are. But thanks for making it an engaging sort of show today, Simeon and Klaus. I hope your A-level studies in social economics goes well and that you get a good degree from the Polytechnic of Huddersfield, the University of Huddersfield when you eventually go. Sorry, that was a bit nasty. But anyway, thank you very much. If you've enjoyed the show, feel free to go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Jon Gaunt and donate anything from a £5 upwards. Or please do it on YouTube on Super Chat or Super Sticker. I don't know how it works, but you click the heart by all accounts and you can donate a couple of quid if you fancy. Yeah? That will just stop me having to sell the big issue outside Boots when be in competition with Klaus and with Simeon when they're selling their socialist worker. So if you could help me do that, that'd be great. Right, until we speak again, meant to do one tomorrow and always normally do one on a Monday at 6:30. But like I say, I may not because it is bank holiday. Oh, there, I'll put the lights back on. It's a bank holiday. But I don't. Oh, yeah, my mate from Australia is here. I'm meant to be going out with him, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So I might be here at 6:30 tomorrow, but if not, I'll definitely be here on Tuesday. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, you can watch it again on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook and on Twitter, X. You can also, of course, listen to the podcast version, which is exactly the same without the pictures. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for making it a success. I'll speak to you soon. Until we speak again, if you've got kids, give them a kiss, give them a hug, and don't forget to keep telling you love them. And what was that recommendation I got earlier? Right-wing live stream, or fascist live stream. See you soon. Bye.